Ransomware is a type of cyber attack carried out by criminals to block access to data on targeted systems. This is accomplished by encrypting the data, and criminals typically demand a ransom payment for decryption. They often also threaten to publish stolen data, which frequently include personal or sensitive information that could compromise both organizations and individuals. Most ransomware attacks were initially targeted at large organizations, and in recent years an increasing number of such attacks have been carried out against smaller organizations and individuals. I haven't encountered anyone willing to publicly share information about being attacked. Although I have been dealing with these issues for nearly 20 years, all victims maintain that informing about the effects and consequences should be handled by the authorities, not themselves. They want to protect their privacy and reputation, as public disclosure would not benefit them in any way. Modern cyber attacks primarily target identity, data, infrastructure, and applications. An example of such an attack occurred in 2019, when the municipality of Kościerzyna in northern Poland was targeted, resulting in the loss of access to all of its IT systems. On November 28th, when I arrived at work and turned on my computer, I discovered that none of the computer programs were accessible. When I turned on the computer, I found that all icons had disappeared from the desktop. All the programs I regularly used ceased to function. We quickly realized we had been infected with malware. At that point, we were uncertain whether our data had been stolen. I requested our IT specialist to investigate potential solutions. Shortly after the incident, our IT specialist's colleagues arrived to help us determine our next steps. We were facing December deadlines, including crucial statutory tasks related to the implementation of financial support for families with children. Additionally, we needed to maintain general resident services, including processing various applications, both personal matters and those related to the financial department's operations. None of the employees knew what to expect or what consequences this attack would bring. We had lost access to all programs and data, with only paper records remaining accessible. This situation required the manual processing of nearly 1,000 transfers. As a result, we had to work overtime, including weekends, to complete these tasks. My work changed dramatically. Overnight, I had to completely change my work system. We reverted to working with paper, pencil, and calculators, having to perform all calculations manually from scratch. We were forced to revert from a digital office environment to an analog one. What should you do if you become a victim of a cyber attack? I advise victims of cyber attacks to first secure their equipment and data by shutting down computers where possible. They should then scan up-to-date antivirus software and promptly engage cybersecurity professionals to determine the extent of the attack, whether it has affected individual devices or the entire network. The next step is to activate the contingency plan, which should already exist within the organization. If such a plan is not in place, one should be developed immediately. The third priority is to quickly identify the exact nature of the incident by engaging specialists. Additionally, it is crucial to properly preserve evidence for potential investigations by state authorities who may need to examine the incident.
Dopiero na czwartym miejscu
The fourth step involves taking legal action, reporting the incident to the President of the Personal Data Protection Office, notifying law enforcement agencies, and alerting any organizations connected to our network. The last point is crucial as malware could have spread through the shared file systems, potentially affecting connected parties. The municipality of Kościerzyna suffered a cyber attack that resulted in a complete loss of access to its IT systems. The attack affected multiple departments, including the municipal department, the Department of Sport, Culture and Tourism, the Municipal Social Welfare Center, and the Resident Service Office. We quickly realized the gravity of the situation, then took action by immediately notifying the police and then the other relevant institutions. We also contacted the appropriate government agency that provides assistance in cybersecurity incidents, seeking guidance on how to proceed after the attack. Act of July 5, 2020 on the National Cybersecurity System, Chapter 3, Article 9. Point 1. The operator of the key service shall designate a person responsible for maintaining contact with entities within the National Cybersecurity System. Point 2. The operator of the key service provides the competent authority for cybersecurity, the competent CCERT-MON, CCERT-NASC, CCERT-GOV, and the sector cybersecurity team, the data of the person referred to in Section 1.1, containing name and surname, telephone number and email address, within 14 days from the date of its designation, as well as information about changes to this data within 14 days of its change. Each local government implements its own measures for protecting and securing citizen data within its respective county or municipality. The Supreme Audit Office conducted an assessment of data protection practices in local governments during 2018 and 2019, and the results were rated very poor.
W przypadku gminy Kościerzyna, gdzie doszło do ataku
In the
ransomware,
case of the municipality of Kościerzyna, which suffered a ransomware attack in late 2019, several statutory requirements were not met. Specifically, no contact person had been designated for cybersecurity incidents, and there was no procedure for reporting IT system issues to the Academic Computer Network's Security Incident Response Team.
sieć komputerową.
While security requires financial investment, it is just as crucial as the financial resources we manage as municipalities. However, the biggest challenge lies in awareness and knowledge about new technologies and opportunities. This is where we face the most significant gap. The responsibility for designating a liaison with the Security Incident Response Team lies with the mayor. Had such contact been established within the first hours of detecting system anomalies, the CCERT-NASC team would have certainly advised immediate reporting of the breach to the appropriate police unit. These are two crucial steps that should be taken in response to this type of attack. In the case of the Kościerzyna attack, these recommended procedures were not followed. Instead, the municipality's IT specialists independently initiated recovery actions to regain control over the compromised systems. This effectively resulted in overwriting potential evidence that could have been left by the cybercriminals. Infrastructure protection in Poland relies on three national-level CCERT teams: CCERT-NASC, CCERT-GOV, and CCERT-MON. The first computer security incident response team in Poland, CERT-NASC, was established in 1996 as part of NASC, Scientific and Academic Computer Network.
Z każdym kolejnym dniem zdawaliśmy
As the days passed, we came to realize that the situation was becoming increasingly difficult. When we reported our problem to government cybersecurity agencies on Saturday evening, November the 30th, we hoped that they would support us in decrypting our data.
odszyfrować nasze dane. W kolejnych dniach, poniedziałek, wtorek,
However, by Monday and Tuesday, It became clear that they lacked the technical capabilities to decrypt the data, and our situation continued to deteriorate. On the 3rd of December, we issued a statement on our website informing residents that our services would be limited as we needed to focus on restoring data from paper documents. We advised that customer service operations would be restricted during this period. Analysis conducted by our IT specialist revealed that our systems had been infected with ransomware. We received communication from the attackers who demanded a ransom and offered to decrypt a sample file to prove that they were behind the system compromise. After we provided them with a test file, they returned it decrypted the following day, confirming that they were indeed the perpetrators who had encrypted our system. Contact with the victim for ransom negotiation is an integral part of a ransomware attack. The attackers who targeted the municipality of Kościerzyna demanded a ransom of 0.5 Bitcoin, which was the equivalent to approximately $3,800 at 2019 exchange rates. It was a challenging decision that required me to carefully weigh various considerations. The primary concern was data security. We were uncertain about the extent of potential data leakage, and the investigations were ongoing. Additionally, there was the legal question of whether paying the ransom would be permissible, regardless of whether it came from public funds or private sources. I'd even considered paying it personally. I wrestled with this dilemma for several days before ultimately deciding not to pay the ransom. Even if the ransom is paid, there is no guarantee that the decryption key provided by the attackers would restore access to our data. Independent data recovery attempts are virtually impossible, as the attackers employ sophisticated encryption algorithms that could take centuries to break with current computing capabilities. Furthermore, paying the ransom could expose us to accusations of financial criminal activities by cybercrime organizations. Responding to a ransomware attack is about minimizing losses.
Z mojego doświadczenia wynika, że wiele
In my experience, many organizations that rushed to remove the malware from their devices failed to eliminate it completely, resulting in repeated encryption attacks and system lockdowns within weeks of the initial incident.
pojawił się dokładnie ten sam problem. W przypadku ataku ransomware bardzo często
When dealing with a ransomware attack, we must first accept that some losses are inevitable.
zostały już poniesione i niestety musimy się z nimi pogodzić. Jeżeli więc chcemy
If we want to effectively protect against future incidents, we have two options. Either have our devices professionally serviced, which often requires extensive time for thorough malware removal, or simply replace the compromised devices with new ones, which may sometimes be the more cost-effective solution. While this approach may not be feasible for more sophisticated electronic systems, replacing basic equipment often proves to be the most straightforward solution.
często najprostsze rozwiązanie.
The numbers of cyber attacks in Poland continues to rise. In 2023, approximately 80,000 incidents were reported, representing a twofold increase compared to the previous year. Polish organizations, particularly those in government and military sectors, face an average of 2,000 attacks per week, with most targeting critical infrastructure such as public administration, energy systems, and transportation networks. In the National Cybersecurity Index ranking from December 20th, 2024, which measures the level of cybersecurity in the country, Poland is in second place in the world. Its effectiveness in repelling cyber attacks is determined at 92.5%.
Muszę sam przyznać się do tego, że pomimo...
In my nearly 20 years of experience helping cyber attack victims, I must acknowledge that no victim has ever fully recovered all of their lost data. This applies to both financial recovery and the victim's sense of justice being served.
Poczuciu i przekonaniu, że sprawiedliwości stało się zadość.
Sytuacja związana z cyberatakiem.
The cyber attack incident was the most challenging experience in my professional career. Created an enormous psychological burden and stress that affected all employees of both the municipal office and its organizational units.
Dla mnie był to okres
For me, it was a period of intense stress, all triggered by a single email received by one of our colleagues.
któregoś z naszych współpracowników.
According to recent Microsoft research, Poland ranks among the European countries most vulnerable to cyber attacks, primarily due to its geopolitical situation, including its proximity to the war in Ukraine. Activities are hybrid operations, combining state-sponsored cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns, particularly originating from Russia and Belarus. Poland has experienced a surge in ransomware attacks and password cracking attempts, with incidents increasing tenfold in 2023 compared to the previous year.
Nie zdawałam sobie sprawy.
Initially, I failed to grasp the full scale of the threat, assuming it would be temporary and resolve itself. However, as time passed, I became increasingly anxious, particularly about our ability to recover the databases we had built up over many years.
Ofiary cyberprzestępstw mogą liczyć na
Cybercrime
bardzo
victims in
ograniczone
Poland have access to only limited institutional support. Non-governmental organizations often play a crucial role in providing support. Cybercrime victims frequently suffer losses beyond financial damage, from losing trust in others to losing irreplaceable items of sentimental value, such as family photographs. In many cases, they also lose their life savings or other valuable assets.
czy innego rodzaju wartości finansowe.
Ta trudna sytuacja trwała
This
ponad
crisis lasted for over a week until December the 6th, when we accidentally discovered someone in Poland who could help us.
będzie nam w stanie pomóc. I to tak
This
naprawdę
turned
był
out to be
nasz
our salvation,
ratunek.
ultimately helping us overcome this difficult situation. On December the 10th, 2019, the first batch of encrypted software was successfully decrypted. A decryption key was discovered that enabled us to progressively restore the compromised IT systems.
Tutaj gmina miała szczęście, dlatego że w większości ataków typu
The
ransomware
municipality was fortunate in this case. As with most professionally executed ransomware attacks, developing a decryption tool is virtually impossible.
w przypadku Kościerzyny
In Kościerzyna's case, a decryption tool was successfully developed because the encryption system contained a vulnerability that allowed for the generation of keys capable of decrypting the compromised data.
podczas ataku. Skuteczność
The
tego
attack's
ataku
weakness wasn't due to the attacker's incompetence, but rather suggested it was an early version of the ransomware. Cybercriminals tend to minimize their operational costs and investments in developing attack tools. How can organizations effectively protect themselves against ransomware attacks?
Musimy przede wszystkim pamiętać o tym,
First and
aby
foremost,
wdrażać
organizations must implement robust security protocols, enable multi-factor authentication, and maintain updated antivirus solutions.
Cyberhigiena jest
Cyber hygiene compromises essential practices that users must follow to protect their computing environment.
ochrona przed atakami ransomware.
Protection against ransomware should primarily focus on data backup strategies, including both local backups on external storage devices such as USB drives and hard disks, as well as utilizing cloud service providers for secure off-site data storage.
którzy świadczą usługi zabezpieczenia naszych danych, ich kopii w środowisku chmurowym. bo
No system can be completely immune to cyber attacks.
odporny na ataki.
On November the 28th, 2019, there was a cyber attack that blocked all IT systems. On December the 10th, 2019, the codes blocking the systems were broken, and work began on gradually restoring all the IT systems and applications to full functionality. The Kościerzyna commune did not have access to its data for 2 weeks. The municipality of Kościerzyna was the first publicly reported case of a successful ransomware attack in Poland. This was soon followed by attacks on the municipality of Lututów, the geodetic systems in Chełmno, and the marshal's office of the Małopolska region in Kraków.
Polskie prawo nie nadąża za cyberprzestępcami, którzy są
Polish
kreatywni.
legislation struggles to keep pace with cybercriminals, who continuously develop new methods to defraud and steal from their victims.
Tego, co dla nas najcenniejsze.
This challenge extends far beyond Poland's borders. It's a global issue. The rapid advancement of technology creates new opportunities for criminals, and legislation worldwide must evolve to address these emerging threats.
Podążać za nimi prawo.